Okay, so we're gonna go over the Dogtra 1900. Comes with this nice little box. If you're going home with a dog from us, we've probably taken this little clip that comes for the back of your button here, and we put it on here. With this handy dandy little clip, you can just clip it onto your pants pocket or your waistband, just like it's your pocket knife or something like that. So it stays there, you always know where it's at, and then you're completely hands-free. When you're putting the collar on your dog, it's very important that these two prongs here make contact with your dog's neck. If only one is making contact, nothing is going to happen. Your dog isn't going to feel anything when you click one of the buttons. So you have to make sure that both of these are making steady contact with your dog. The best place to put them on your dog is probably about 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Those are usually about the best places. If you put it up on the top of your dog's neck, the flesh there is a lot firmer, it's a lot more uncomfortable. And if you put it all the way down at 6 o'clock here at the very bottom of your dog's neck, that collar is going to have to be pretty dang tight in order to make constant contact when your dog puts its head down on the ground to maybe sniff or maybe eat something off the ground that you don't want them to. Helpful hint, these are completely waterproof. It's all waterproof. Your dog can go swimming, your dog can play in the rain, all of that waterproof. They're fantastic. However, if your dog is sensitive to the metal of these contact points, if they're sensitive to the metal and your dog goes and plays in the water and you leave the collar on for them to dry with the collar on, in about 2 days you might notice a hot spot. So if your general rule of thumb is if your dog goes and plays with the water with these, that's fine. But when they're done playing in the water, put them somewhere, take the collar off, allow your dog's body and neck to dry completely before putting the collar back on. The transmitter and the receiver, there's these blue buttons. That's your power button. And if you click and hold this power button, you'll see that the green light will come on. And now you know that the collar is on. Well, this one is going to do the same, only you'll see that it does have a blinking green light up here, but your screen should light up. It should show you exactly how much, what number your button is set to. This dial up here is going to go all the way up to 127. And then all the way back down to 0. You want to get real good at this when you hold your collar. That way you can kind of adjust your numbers up and down a little bit depending on what your dog is doing. If your dog is in a very low drive and you have to use your collar to communicate to your dog, that number is going to be a lot lower than when your dog is in a very high drive situation, like chasing the birds or a cat or something like that. General rule of thumb, before you put the collar on your dog, you're going to hit this button right here. This is your pager button. When you hit this, the collar vibrates. Hear it? And all it is the box is just vibrating. That's all that it is. Generally speaking, we don't use this to communicate to the dogs. It's either going to wig them out because they're really sensitive to the vibration, unlike people, and they're going to be startled every time, or they are going to be insensitive to it and they're going to be like, yeah, whatever, and completely ignore you anyway, kind of like a child nagging at their mother. So don't do that. We're going to use the stimulation buttons, and this will show you exactly what they do. So remember, both contact points need to make contact with the dog in order for there to be a complete circuit. There, you see that flash? Let's roll it up a little bit more. There you go. So this top button is nick. That's a momentary button. So if I click this once and hold it down until tomorrow, it's only going to impulse that one brief impulse, okay? But if I click it multiple times, then we have multiple impulses, right? But only one impulse per click. Plus, you'll want to get used to it. You'll want to check this out so that way you know how responsive it is to you clicking. And this bottom one here, this is continuous. This is like a bunch of little nicks close together. So if I click this bottom one, then I'm going to have a bunch of impulses. Geez, I hope that doesn't look like it's just glowing. Here. There. So nick, top button, one click. 2 clicks, okay? Bottom one is the continuous. 1 click, 1 click hold, and you can see that it's just pulsating. So it's like a bunch of those nicks really close together. It's the same level, but they're really close together. So that way your dog just doesn't ignore the brief impulse, which, you know, they easily can. When you're done with the collar at the end of the day and you take it off of your dog, where do you put it? No place other than its bed. Put your collar to bed at night. Honestly, the charge will hold for a few days, but if you get used to this, then the collar will be charged whenever you're ready to use it, and you always know where it is. So plug this bad boy in. I'm going to open these. Each one has this collar's, you have these little rubber grommets. You stick your charger in there on both. It does both of them at the same time. And this is in the wall, and now they're charging. If you have the collar on and you put it on the charger, when you take the collar off the charger, it is off. It is no longer on. Anytime you take the collar and the transmitter and the receiver off of the charger, it is off. And that is why we always go ahead and we click this pager button. Make sure that these are talking to each other before we put it on the dog. Instead of going, well, I don't know, is it working? I don't know, is it working? It's working. When you're going to shut them off, again, the blue power buttons, push and hold that button until that red light goes off. If you see the red light and you release this button early, it will still be on. So if you really want to shut it off, maybe you're camping, you need that baby to hold the charge for, you know, a few days, make sure that it is off before you let go of the button. So wait until the red light comes on and goes off, and now it's off. Same thing here. And you'll notice on this, there's a little battery symbol there, how much battery juice you got in there. And it's like, oh yeah, it's nice and full, and it can be a little bit misleading because as soon as that battery starts to drop and one of those little lines comes down, this has a very similar thing. The light starts to change color. As soon as the battery level starts to decrease on these, it goes away very fast and they die really quick. You're like, oh, I had this on for 2 days and it's just now starting to change color. Oh, I'm probably going to have another. Nope. It's going to be dead pretty quick. So get her on a charger. The closer the color is to red, the more dead it is. And same thing here. This light too will change color. Good luck with everything, and let us know if you need any help.